אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. מי שברך אמותינו, שרה, רבקה, לאה ורחל. Our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
Shalom.
1, 2, 3. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Shema, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Shema, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, welcome everyone to Congregation Micah. For those that may not know, my name is Philip Rice, and they call me Rabbi Flip. And I'm not the second-tier rabbi, but on behalf of Rabbi Lori, who's not here, we want to welcome you. We want to thank, of course, Miss Lisa Silver and Mr. John Mock over there, who helped create our music and make this a sacred and fun experience. There are clearly some young people in the room, and we're excited about that because there's a whole baby naming thing that's going to happen, and then you're going to get to see babies, which makes us more joyous. I don't want to, embarrass anyone, but I'm not going to try, but I'm getting the sense there's a lot of new people here tonight because I see the name tags. So if you're new, just go ahead and stand up for a second, please.
Wow. That's a lot of new people.
Okay. You don't have to stand long, but see what this does is this lets everyone else know who we're going to be nice to tonight. Okay, sit back down. We like to tell the story of the Jewish people through our worship. That's one of the things that we do, and we do it here at Music City in a very musical way. And we love for you to try and sing along. If you have books, I'll every once in a while shout out the page numbers. If you're following along on the screens, you can just tap your toes or enjoy it. That's another way of participating. And what we do is we welcome the Sabbath. And part of that story of welcoming the Sabbath, we go very, very to the very beginning of the Torah. And in the beginning of the Torah, it says, God says, let there be light. And what we learn is that in the beginning, God, this creating power, brought order to the chaos. And he did that by bringing light to darkness. So we mimic that experience. And we're going to invite Ava and whoever wants to come forward with her, please, to kindle our candles. And we're going to invite you to first read with me and then to sing along. So please read with me. Or on page 2 if you're in a book. It says, as these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light.
Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Haolam, Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner, shel Shabbat. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
So we learned that many years ago, the ancient Kabbalists would receive, that's what Kabbalah means, receive, the Sabbath bride. And just as if you were a wedding, we're going to sing this next song, and towards the end, I'm going to go like this, and we're going to all stand up, and we're going to face the doors as if we're welcoming that bride, that joy, that sense of peace into our lives. L'chadodi, please join us.
Shabbat שם ותפארת ולפילה. לך דודי לך כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לך כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש לקדם ניסוחה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה. לך דודי לך כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לך כלה יללה 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 בני שבת לקבלה.
You don't get to sit down. Here's what we're going to do next. I knew there was going to be a lot of new people. We're going to do a small mixer. What does this mean? Don't be comfortable. Go meet someone new. If you're a member of Congregation Micah, go up to someone who's got a name tag that shows that they're not a member and be nice. You get like 3 minutes. Go. I'm going to have you stand at the microphone. Are you going to speak with him? You're going to let him talk. Okay, so you just hold baby this way so they can see. And are you a grandfather? I'm a lady. Come on. Thank you. It's a wonderful. I'm not saying anything you should do. I don't even know where you're from, but my parents at one point were like, we can't listen to them. After 49 years in Florida, they're called halfbackers. They went halfbackers? Jersey to Florida, they call that. Okay, so let me just try. Okay, I didn't say be best friends. Everybody's gonna find seats again. I gotta keep us on track. You can be friendly again later. We allow it later. Please be seated. We've got a baby. Babies are cute. Okay, exchange numbers, text each other later. So,
tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu.
All right. When in doubt, go music, when in Music City. Every child that comes into the world carries a message. And I know at least part of that message is that God is not really actually that discouraged with us. Because with every child comes the hope of new possibilities. And every child brings fresh energy into the world, and therefore greater fulfillment to rows 1 through 3, I think, that being the lives that surround it. So each soul that enters this world is testimony to our conviction as the Jewish people that we still believe that life is good, just like it says at the beginning of that story. And that celebrating life is very worthwhile. And that hope is actually here on our pulpit. That hope is the reason that we celebrate. And we are here to give that hope an a Hebrew name, given that her name is Abigail Eve Bernstein in English. Is that correct? Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is, in ancient Near Eastern times, the hospitable thing to do was to wash someone's feet. Wouldn't that be great if you showed up here and we washed your feet? Well, we're going to wash her feet. Okay, someone want to do this? Does Dad want to come over and just take a little tissue and dip it in there? Okay, look at that. Let him see, let him see. Good job. Okay. Oh my God, I'll trade you kids. Okay, Ryan, why don't you go and do a little welcome now? And Lindsay, let everybody see.
With all our hearts and all our souls, with all our might, we thank you, God, for the gift of this wonderful child. We pray for her continued health, for her to be strong in mind and body, to grow steadily and sturdily in a home filled with joy. We pray for her to become someone who greets the world with passion, courage, humility, honor, and patience. With all our hearts, with all our souls, with all our might, we pray for God to watch over us and our family, for the ability to love and nurture our child, to provide for her and to educate her, to understand her, and to allow her the freedom to grow.
Okay, I know that Ron loves his Hebrew name. That's what I was told. So we call right now to read a grandparent blessing. Reuven, yes?
Yes.
Please.
Children learn what is lived. If children live with criticism, they learn to condemn. If children live with hostility, they learn to fight. If children live with ridicule, they learn to be shy. If children live with shame, they learn to feel guilty. If children live with tolerance, they learn to be patient. If children live with encouragement, they learn confidence. If children live with fairness, they learn justice. If children live with security, they learn to have faith. If children live with acceptance and friendship, they learn to find love in the world.
Okay. We are going to invoke God's name now and give you an official name in Hebrew. We say, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imutenu. May the God of all the generations before us, the God that reminds us to be ever grateful for the bond of life that links one generation to another, thankful also for the blessings of family that bring meaning and happiness not just to your lives, but to our community now. We rejoice, therefore, as a Jewish community, as Abigail already, a beloved daughter and granddaughter, clearly, takes on a Hebrew identity, and with it a Jewish name. May you grow in health and in strength, in harmony and in love. And may you, God, sustain this child as she will be known in the household of Israel as Batya Miriam, Bat Avraham Baruch Lindsay. May her name be a source of strength and joy to you. May it inspire you to serve the Jewish people and all of humankind. And may your parents rejoice in your growth of body and of soul. May you bring your family and our community honor. And may you live a life of chuppah Torah and ma'asim tovi, a life of marriage, a life of learning, and a life of performing good deeds. Everybody says, amen. We're not done. Baby's being so good, I got to keep going with it. This tallis is from where? Come be a part of it, Ron. Be in it.
This is from Israel, I believe.
Okay, so stand next to them. I'm just going to wrap all three of you. And it sounds a little prettier if we let Miss Lisa play along with us, too. It goes like this.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'shmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you safe always.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May God's face shine upon you and through you, and may you be granted the greatest gift. May you always be happy.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God's countenance shine upon you and through you, and may you and all of these people that love you and our whole broken world always know a sense of shalom, a sense of wholeness and peace. One more time we say, oh, you better be careful because that was a very good baby. We'll see how she does. Okay. All right. You guys are good. You can go back. We got to keep going. We're going to do it in a joyous fashion. We have reached the end of the warm-up section of telling the story where it really begins. And what we're going to do is invite you all to please rise for the words of a Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitkaral v'yitkadash merabah v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chay l'chol beit Yisrael b'gala uv'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach La'olam u'almei almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach Yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh Yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei d'Kudashah Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran belma v'himru
Amen.
Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed
We invite you to take your seats. We continue the words of Ma'ariv Aravim, moving from creation to purpose. We were in the wilderness, we were wandering, and we received again Kabbalah, this notion, this call This idea that we had a sacred purpose in the world, sharing the Torah with others.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravi Bechokma poteach sha'arim ובתבונה משנה עיתים ומחליף את הזמנים מסדר הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו יאי די 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 יאי די 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 חושך משמי אור מעביר יום ומערבי לילה ומדל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די 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 די
In that story, we recognized that there was one great power in the universe and that we, in fact, were all connected. The words to the Shema can be found pages 34 and 35 if you're following along with a book and like the Hebrew. We sing together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kavod Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Leolam Vaed And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And all these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart. And you shall teach them diligently unto your children. And you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, and when you're lying down, and when you're rising up, and when you're rising up. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house, and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
Every story has highs and lows. There's a narrative arc, experts will tell you. And one of the greatest parts of the story was the idea, the hope, that the world can always be a little bit better than it is. And our exodus from Egypt represented that hope. And divine intervention represented that hope. And this song, La Micha Mocha, represents this hope. Page number 40.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la la la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha neder b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh. Nora tehilot osef eleh. Malachutecha uvanecha pokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Ze Elianu ve'amru, ze Elianu ve'amaru. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neder b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh.
Okay, Gwendolyn, it's your turn. We're gonna have Rachel and Dylan, your parents, kind of up here. Is Claudia coming too? Grandparents are coming too? Oh, outstanding. Okay. A lot of pressure on you to be good right now. I think you can pull it off. Hi. Hi. You know, your sister's one of my dance buddies at Tot Shabbat. Okay, we do a similar thing. We got to welcome her into the covenant as if we're in the ancient Near East. Yeah, this is like your first pedicure. Does someone want to do it? Claudia, you want to do it? Do you want to come over and take the tissue and wash your feet? Yeah, you could do it. Take the tissue. Come over here. Oh, we're going to get her clean. We care about COVID here. All right, go ahead, get on her toes, get on her toes. Oh, we got her knees. Oh, you are in the covenant now. No. Okay, that was good job. Okay. I'll take it. Just put it down. It's fine. Okay. So again, I like to say we look for miracles all the time, and they're there. And if you don't know where they are, they're right here at Congregation Micah on our Bima. Dad, you want to start? Mom, you guys want to do a little reading to start? That's mine.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you all for joining us as we give our child, Gwendolyn, an official Hebrew name. Filled with joy, we invite you to join us as we formally welcome her into the Jewish community. It is our hope to raise her in a home warm with tradition, where the seasons are marked and enhanced with the beauty of sacred celebration, and where reverence for learning and love flourishes.
Okay. Grandparents are coming in.
Gwendolyn Petra Jones, may you always have
enough happiness to keep you sweet,
enough trials to keep you strong,
enough hope to keep you happy,
enough success to keep you eager,
enough friends to give you comfort,
enough wealth to meet your needs,
enough enthusiasm to look forward,
enough faith to banish depression,
enough determination to make each day better than yesterday.
Okay. I like to say that in every birth, blessed is the wonder. And in every creation, blessed is the new beginning. In every child, blessed be the life. And in every hope, blessed be the potential. In every transition, blessed be the beginning. And in every existence, blessed be the possibility. In every love, blessed be the tears. Not a lot of them. And in every life, blessed be the love. So we are here also to give you an official name. You have waited a little while. You were not born last week. 8 months? 8 months. You've been very patient for this. We say Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu. We ask this God who blessed all of our ancestors before us to bless you in your life as you grow in body and soul. We ask that that God not only protect you, but challenge you to live a life of chuppah, Torah, and ma'asim tovim. We ask also that you be known in the household of Israel, already being known, by the way, as Gwendolyn, a beloved daughter, sister, right, Claudia, and granddaughter, right? As Amira, correct? Amira Bat? Doesn't matter. Come over here. Do you want to say a little bit why you've chosen the Hebrew-English name? You want to say something about it?
Well, in light of a very interesting year everyone's had, there might have been a lot of trepidation with making sure the baby arrived healthy and happy, and she came into the world full of life and of volume and noise, and we were just elated by that, at just the vitality that she had. So,
Amira also is like to say.
yeah,
She's
to
going to
say
have a
or
lot
to
to say.
utterance. So we wanted to commemorate that life that she brings to us.
Outstanding. All right, family blessing. Everybody's got to get in. You've got a tallis too. You can fit. Come.
We should have gotten the extra large.
Oh, you're going to make it. Bring her in here. Come on. To make it special, maybe we'll do a little Shechechianu. Are you guys ready?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Amen. Okay, you guys look too good. You don't get to leave. Here's why. Because the next part of the story was our camping experience in the wilderness after the sea split, and we asked for protection. And if you guys can make it a little longer, we're going to have you stay up here while we sing our prayer for protection.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shorenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake in morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Clap for both babies. It's too cute. All right, why don't we send them out with some joy there, Miss Lisa? A little yismahu.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, בקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, בקוראי עונג. על מקדשי שביעי, כולם יזכו ויתענגו, מטובך והשביעי רצית בו. בקידש טוב, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, בקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, בקוראי עונג. חמדת ימים מותו קראתה, זכה למעשה, זכה למעשה בראשית. חמדת ימים מותו קראתה, זכה למעשה, זכה למעשה בראשית. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, בקוראי עונג. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, בקוראי עונג.
We are definitely feeling joyous with new babies coming into the world. You can register and get on the wait list for the Micah Children's Academy at any time. You know, we approach God and the divine presence in all sorts of ways here at Micah. We certainly do through joyous music. We do through the authenticity of our intentions, our actions, and our words. And we do through the sacredness of our prayers, our ancient prayers. And so what we're going to ask you to do now is to rise for Tefillah, our central prayer. And if you'd like to follow along in Hebrew, we begin on page 46.
Adonai, sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehillatech. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וכהני הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
And as always, we leave a little bit of silence. And when you're done with your silence, you may be seated. And when most of us are sitting, we'll sing together again.
Imre fire libi lefanecha Adonai suri v'goali Adonai suri v'goali May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, be acceptable to you. God, my rock and my redeemer. God, my rock and redeemer. Amen.
We always pause at this moment because we hope that God is especially attentive, having heard the prayers in the story of the Jewish people, and based on the merit of our ancestors, we'll hear our prayers now for those people who are sick. And we think specifically from our community of Steve Geringer and Savannah Morris, of Jane Sherberg and Paul Richter, Christopher Miller, Charlie Baugh, Monte Chance, Mickey Collins, TJ Cohen and Lisa Silver, Dick Eskin and Steve Gould, B.B. Weinstein, Alex Morgan, Bill Drungowski, Mark Cohen, Rudy Saperstein, Polly Langford, Lee Cohen, Clarence Yarbrough, Connie Yarbrough, Gail Hooper, Julie Collins, Edria Ragusin. If their names I have not said and you'd like to say them aloud, we invite you to do so at this time.
Susan Burdine, Wayne Blackman, Sherry Gallagher, Cheryl Deese.
We think of all people sick for any reason, COVID or otherwise, anyone in need of a blessing of healing, and we invite you to sing with us.
Elna refana la nu. Elna refana la nu. Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. Elna refana la nu. Elna refana la nu. Restore our strength of body. Help clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirits. Rejuvenate our lives. Elna refana la nu. Elna refana la nu. Thank you for all these blessings throughout our days and nights. We celebrate the journey, this precious gift of life. Elna refana la nu. Elna refana la nu. Elna refana la nu. Elna refana
Shabbat Shalom. If all these kids make it through this next part, they're going to be horrible teenagers, is my guess. I will not be insulted if someone needs to get up at any point. I don't see that as a reflection of what I'm talking about. Let's start with Albert Einstein. May he rest in peace. He once said, "Reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one." What we think of a reality is, in fact, just an interpretation of reality. The reality that we experience, in scientific terms, is the compound of our senses' ability to notice the world's phenomenon and our mind's ability to perceive or to frame those happenings. So here at Micah, we also filter them through our beliefs. Judaism becomes the lens through which we understand or perceive what is real and what is important. Everyone with me so far? Yeah? It's hard to tell with the masks. I could read the opening paragraph again, but okay. One of the gifts of great leaders is that they frame reality for the group. They define the situation. They specify and articulate the choices. Great leaders lead by telling us where we are, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. They do this even better than the Waze app. Leaders show us the map and the destination, and they help us see why we should choose this route and not that one. No one did it more powerfully than Moses in the book of Deuteronomy. Here's how he does it at the beginning of this week's Torah portion. Re'eh, Anochi noten lifnechem hayom bracha uklala. See, this day I set before you blessing and curse. Et habracha, blessing, asher tishma'u el mitzvot Adonai Elohechem, asher anochi metzaveh etchem hayom. Blessing if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God that I enjoin upon you this day. V'haklala, and curse, im lo tishma'u et mitzvot Adonai Elohechem, if you do not obey the commandments of your God. What Moses is doing here is defining reality for the next generation, really for all generations. As a preface to what is about to follow in the story, he shows them the map, namely a systematic restatement of Jewish values, covering all aspects of life for this new nation in this new land. Moses does not want the people to lose sight of the big picture by being overwhelmed by the details. Judaism has a lot of details. It aims at the sanctification of all aspects of life. From daily ritual to the very structure of society and its institutions, its aim is to shape a social world in which we turn even seemingly secular occasions into encounters with a divine presence. Despite the details, says Moses, the choice I set before you is really quite simple. We, he tells the next generation, are unique. We're a small people. We have not the numbers, the wealth, nor the sophisticated weaponry of great empires. We are smaller even than our neighboring nations. We do not even have a land, but we're different. And that difference defines us once and for all, who we are and why. We are history makers with a grand narrative, a story about being freed from bondage. And once free, our ancestors took an oath, binding us as covenantal partners with the Holy One. Blessed be the name. This is not because of our merits. Lo b'tzidkatcha uv'yosher levavecha atava lareshet et artzem. It is not because of your righteousness or your integrity that you're going to take possession of this land. We're not more righteous than others, says Moses. It's because our ancestors, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, were the first people to heed the call, to stop worshiping nature and conceive of a higher power, a creator, and then followed that gut feeling, worshiping not nature, but the creator of nature, and not power, but justice and compassion, and not hierarchy, but a society of equal dignity where all are valued. That includes within it concern for the widow and the orphan and the stranger. Do not think, says Moses, that we can survive as a nation among the other nations, worshiping what they worship and living exactly as they live. Their values are sometimes very different. If we do, we will be subject to the universal law, right, that governs the fate of all nations from the dawn of civilization to today. Societies are born, they grow, they flourish, they become complacent, then corrupt, then divided, then defeated, then they die. You can read about it on the internet. I looked it up. Or in history books, or in museums. In the case of Israel, small and intensely vulnerable, that fate will happen sooner rather than later, says Moses. That is what he calls the curse. The alternative is simple, even though it's demanding and it's detailed. It means predicating our existence on something or someone vastly greater than ourselves. Then we will be lifted higher than we could reach by ourselves. We will avoid decay, decline, and defeat. Moses, like most of us who have learned things during the pandemic, knows that people often think and act in very short-term ways, preferring today's pleasures to tomorrow's happiness, personal advantage instead of the greater good. They do foolish things, individually and collectively. So throughout the book of Deuteronomy, Moses insists time and again that the road to long-term flourishing, the good, the blessing, life itself, consists in making one simple choice: walking humbly with God. Hey, what she's saying might be actually more intelligent than what I'm saying. That's humility. Walking the path of righteousness and blessing will follow. If not sooner or later, you will be conquered and dispersed, and you will suffer more than you can imagine. Moses defined reality for the Israelites of his time and all time. He set the standard for leadership. He and Rabbi Laurie, of course. Because the meaning of events is never self-evident. It's always subject to interpretation. Sometimes, out of folly or fear or of failure or imagination, leaders get it wrong, right? At one point, Neville Chamberlain defined the challenge of the rise to power of Nazi Germany as the search for peace in our time. It took a Churchill to realize that this was wrong, and that the real challenge was the defense of liberty against tyranny. In Abraham Lincoln's day, there were any number of people that were for or against slavery. But it took Lincoln to outline its abolition as a necessary step to the preservation of the Union. It was that larger vision that allowed him to say in the second inaugural, "With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right of God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds." He allowed neither abolition itself nor the end of the Civil War to be seen as a victory for one side or the other. He tried to define it instead as a victory for the nation. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, alav hashalom, may he rest in peace, writes, "There is a difference between the cause of something and its meaning. The search for causes is the task of explanation. The search for meaning is the work of interpretation. Science can explain, but it cannot interpret. For that, we have the CDC. Were the 10 plagues a natural a sequence of events or divine punishment? Or both? There's no scientific experiment that could resolve that question. Was the division of the Red Sea a divine intervention in history or a freakily easterly wind exposing a submerged and ancient riverbank? Was the Exodus an act of divine liberation or a series of lucky coincidences that allowed a group of fugitive slaves to escape? When all the casual explanations have been given, the quality of a miracle, an epic-changing event in which we witness the hand of God, remains. Because Judaism is not nature. There are causes in nature, but in Judaism there are meanings. We think of Viktor Frankl, may he rest in peace. He used to emphasize our lives are determined not by what happens to us, but how we respond to what happens to us. And how we respond depends on how we interpret events. Is the ongoing pandemic the end of your world? Or is it life calling on all of us to exercise heroic strength so that we can survive and help other people survive? The same circumstances may be interpreted differently by two different people, leading one to despair and the other to heroic endurance. The facts may be the same, but the interpretation, the meanings are diametrically different. How we interpret the world affects how we respond to the world, and it's our responsibility to shape our lives individually and collectively by certain values. That is why, in the famous words of Max Dupree, the first responsibility of a leader is to define reality. So in these last few moments, let me try. Within every family and every community, every organization really, there are tests and trials and tribulations. Do these lead to arguments and blame and recrimination? Or does the group see them as a route to some future good? A descent that leads to an ascent, as the Lubavitcher Rebbe used to say. Here at Micah, we work together to meet life's challenges. We are a strong family of families, a community with a clear sense of what our ideals are. We are unabashedly inclusive, innovative, and we're a synagogue where we explore and celebrate Jewish life that is committed to building community and repairing the world. And with all this last year has thrown at us, our membership has remained supportive. We've grown. Our finances are strong. And our community remains connected despite the world's attempts to blow us off course by the winds of change. Our country may be divided, but the choices before us as Jews are not so dissimilar to that in Moses' time. With the High Holy Days quickly approaching, we are asked to choose between good and bad, life and death, blessing and curse. Following God on one hand, or choosing the value of neighboring civilizations on the other. The Hittites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites. Know any of them? They are no more. Am Yisrael Chai, but the people of Israel still live, despite an unparalleled history of circumstantial change. Who are we? What are we trying to achieve? What kind of people do we aspire to be? These are the questions that your spiritual leaders will be asking when we gather on the days of awe and search for meaning, so that Micah and its membership will continue to be blessed with exceptional resilience and strength. Shabbat Shalom. All right, we're running a little late, so there's no hesitation. Do we have birthdays? Do we have anniversaries? I'm not celebrating them if we don't. I saw Amy sneak out, so I'm going to make her watch the archive live stream because I know it's her 50th and she was here earlier and I should have blessed her earlier, but we had babies. So I know that there's people who like to come up here. I'm looking at the Averys, but let's open these Ark doors. Anyone else want to come open the Ark doors? You got to be on TV. Let's do it. We rise together. For the words of Aleinu, if you're following along in a book, we're on page 282.
Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyeh haratzot, v'lo samanu כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Here at the end of our service, we think about those people who still touch our lives through their spirits. On their yard sites, the anniversaries of their deaths, we think of Alan Feinstein and Dorothy Fallon, Morris Jacobs, Mary Strunk, Dr. James R. Surface, Melvin Eppinger, Corinne Blecher, Helen Rose, Miss Jane G. Eskin, Charles Newman, Alice Greenberg, Harry Light, Marvin Eisenberg, and Louis Herman Block. We also mourn this year the passings of Rich Michelle, Henry E. Foyer, and Dr. Bob Sirkin, Aidan Becker, Robert Golden, Des Zamek, Elaine Farinacci, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, Charlene Creeley, John Giffen, Faye Sirkin, Joyce Murray, Richard I. Bourne, Fran Schmerling, Peggy J. West, Christopher Miller, Molly Stein, Alfred Cohen, Joseph W. Blumenthal, Leonard Bast, Joanne Cohen, Jack Chirac, Hilda Jackman, Peter Weiss, Mary Frank, and Gersha Rogers. If there's any names that I've neglected to mention you'd like to say aloud? We think about all those who have been a blessing to humanity, and we join together in Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malkute, b'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nekamata, tamiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlom Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We ask, as always, that the source of peace send peace to all people who are mourning and comfort to all people who may feel bereaved. We say one final time together, amen. Okay, I'm going to have you sit, but just really briefly, and I'm going to rifle through these announcements so that anyone heading to a Shabbos dinner or needs to eat will not be cranky or mad at me. Tomorrow morning is Torah study, as always, on Zoom. It's compassionate conversation and deep, meaningful ones. You're welcome to join us. All this information is pretty much available on our website. Want to let people know that there is a high holiday rehearsal tomorrow. Yes? No, on Sunday, excuse me, on the 8th at 4 o'clock.
Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Yes, Mahjong is happening. It's on Tuesdays. It's in the building. Please join us. Shmooze and Views, our political conversation.